Hello everyone, welcome in. That's right everybody, it's W today. Don't get to say that very often. Unfortunately with this season coming to a close, we're in the twilight. But hey, we get to say we beat Red Bulls. This is really getting the monkey off our back when it comes to them. 3 straight results with them have gone at least our way in terms of results. We were able to get 1 point for draw and 2 points, or 3 points in 2 separate occasions with 2 wins against them. So things have changed quite a bit when it comes to our difficulties with Red Bulls. So that's really cool to see. I don't know why we have to get bad for us to start to figure out a team that is traditionally whomped us all the time. But hey, if we can stick it in the craw of a rival, I'm okay with that. Now, the question is, can we do it again against the Disney Kitties? That'll be fun to see. If we're just here for making our rivals mad right now and then somehow squeaking in the playoffs and then getting our first round exit, I'm kind of okay with that. If in the very least we make life more difficult for those 2 teams. Do we deserve to be in the playoffs? Absolutely not. But if you were to dangle in front of me the tantalizing prospect of making life difficult for Red Bulls and Orlando, I'll take it. So, but we're going to talk about the match tonight. New York Red Bulls came to Atlanta and we dispatched them. Was it 2-2? No. 2-1? No. It was 2-0 somehow. You might look at your phone with score updates if you weren't watching and not know what the heck is going on and what score actually played out. It was a wild game, and we'll get into it. I am joined now by AJ. AJ, welcome. You were at the game. Was the atmosphere, we'll start there. Was the atmosphere tonight? Did they bring it? Did they go, okay, this is last home game, we need to go hard, people show up? What happened? What was it like?
Yeah, at the stadium, it was definitely a better vibe, for sure. And it was not quite 43 that they said was the paid attendance. But as far as, I would say about, like a solid 30 probably 30K probably came. And but yeah, I mean the chants were steady, they were loud, they were louder than they usually were, more people joined in than usual, and I think it translated on the pitch a little bit. I think the early energy from the Five Stripes were just a lot better than we usually saw, especially against the Red Bulls. And yeah, I think even though we didn't score in the first half, we should have. There were a plethora of chances. I mean, as far as just our lack of clinical ability in front of goal is just, we know this. This is the story of the season. But the free kicks that we had, they were dangerous, but
Carlos Coronel played really well.
Yeah, he did. But it also was, we didn't quite... It wasn't like he was absolutely standing on his head. It was more like, okay, yeah, we just...
2 fingertip saves off the crossbar? That's kind of standing on his head.
I mean, those were, but I think it's like...
Then that kick save from Fortune? I mean...
Yeah. But I guess it's this. It's like you guys have the benefit of replay, at home. Like we're seeing these live, and they're not showing like New York Red Bulls, replays like that. So I think maybe you saw the replays that kind of showed a different story, possibly, but. I think for me, the just lack of final third cohesiveness, ultimately, it was like just almost for some of those moments that we need to bury, and like those corners that we had. I mean, like a
lot of corners this game.
Yeah, and it's just we really should have been up, but okay, no big deal. It is a big deal, but no big deal. We got it done in the second half, and it really took. Edwin Mosquera, he was a freaking menace tonight.
He was,
and it was him playing on the left side. Usually it's Saba. Usually Mosquera plays on the right when Saba comes in, but instead, Mosquera, he was played in behind a lot. He was trying to beat his man on the dribble, and he did constantly. He had the beating of his left back, and he was putting good balls in, dangerous balls in, and he won the penalty. So fantastic.
That has to be said about him. He did do one of his famous Mosquera moves where he just gave the ball away as he's dribbling. So I love it. Very often he does that.
Yeah. And those are the things that he's just a very raw, a very raw player, where it's like his good attributes can more or less, mask his things, his shortcomings. But ultimately, I think he did really, really well tonight, and I think. Obviously, with the goal that he had against them at Red Bull Arena, he was buoyed by that. Definitely had that confidence, and he was trying to make things happen. So was Saba, and Moranchuk. He buries that penalty after. We had I think 3 VAR interventions essentially, and they all kind of go our way. Which, man, when does that happen?
Yeah.
Like.
There's a lot of howevers in the bends tonight.
Right, and it was those howevers go our way, so fantastic. And I think Rob Valentino, he mentioned after in the press conference, like we wrote our luck essentially, to paraphrase, and the Red Bulls are in the playoffs, so
screw 'em.
We're gonna exactly, like sometimes you gotta play your way into luck. Is pretty much another paraphrase of what he's saying, and it's like, hell yeah, like it's we've had quite a number of years where we have not had great luck with VAR and just ref calls in general, and just that general feeling. Like I think this match was, I'm trying to think if there were like fortuitous calls for us, really. I felt like they were justified. Like,
I thought they all were fairly, on the nose. I didn't think anything was egregious or wrong or anything. I mean, what did you think about the whole? Because boy, oh boy, you weren't at the, you were at the stadium, so you didn't hear the commentators. Jason Longshore, and also the national commentators lost their goddamn mind when. When they went back to review for the penalty kick, they wanted to see whether or not like it would be an actual penalty or something like that, and they were like, no, you don't re-ref the game as a VAR. You don't go, that was a bad call or something like that. Like, you just say, was it clear and obvious error on the part of the ref? That's what your job is as the VAR, not to relitigate the whole game. Like, that's not your job. And they went off for like 3 minutes on like rants about that. They were very, very upset. I haven't seen Jason that heated in a while, so that was interesting to see.
I mean,
everyone was like, they should have never gone back to VAR. They should have never looked at the monitor. There's nothing to see.
I mean, they're always going to check that, so they should. So, especially on penalty calls, those are the moments that you do have to check. But it was, I think, interesting in the sense that I didn't have the benefit of hearing that, I guess, benefit, quote unquote, and so like it was more just ignorant bliss, maybe, where I was just like, whatever, You know, like, okay, we're gonna wait on this VAR call, and I thought it was a stonewall, like,
Yeah.
had to be, and but I think the yellow card, dude, I think Goose got one, right?
Let me check.
I don't think they announced it, but if he did get one, I was
No,
like,
Guzan did not get one.
It was Gregerson.
Yeah, Gregerson got one. Yep.
Which, I mean, him getting shoved to the ground, it's like, well, what is he supposed to do? Like, is he supposed to just walk away? Like, no. He's he's also 6'5". Like, yeah, he's not gonna go down easy. Like, yeah, that was a bit of a, you know, I think that's maybe the only thing that I had a problem with, was like, why did we get a card?
Yeah.
Like, but it's just more like, okay, you know, give one to both sides, all of that, but ultimately, yeah, I think the New York Red Bulls bench getting the yellow card also cracked me up. I was just like,
yeah, and our bench got a yellow card too.
Yeah, which fair, but it's like, you know, I think, yeah, they were trying to. Well, it's this. It's like the whole bench. Like, what are we saying? It's like, you know, if something else pops off, is the whole bench just have to go to the locker room? Like,
sure.
No coaches, no players. Like, what? Who actually was yellow carded? It's
yeah. We had.
What's in the stadium? Yeah.
They had 6 yellow cards for Red Bulls and 1 red card.
Yeah, it's just like yeah, but I think the one I guess mark on tonight was, okay, yes, there were a lot of calls that were you know, in terms of goals that were pulled back for the Red Bulls, especially them going down at 10 men and still scoring against us. Yeah, it's like,
And I felt like it was coming. I mean, especially with the 2 called off. Like, they just, and Red Bulls never quits. They just keep going and going. And our defense has like a thing where they just like to switch off at least once a game that ends in a goal almost every time.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, those offside calls were offside, so it's like, okay, whatever. But yeah, the goal being scored against us is just like, man, come on. Like,
yeah, dude, Mike Conti literally was like, "You've got to be kidding me!" It was very funny.
Yeah, it's just a microcosm of this season, and ultimately, I mean, yeah, we get the 3 points, and we are alive in the playoff picture. So, yeah, we do have to rely on a lot of things, and also us taking care of business against the Disney Kitties. So, yeah, them being able to play spoiler against us, I'm not excited about that.
Yeah, no. They're going to love it.
Yeah, they're going to love it. And, I mean, we will love it if we can, you know, do it at their grounds. So, you know, it's something to play for. So, okay, you know, it makes decision day at least interesting. So, I'll take that at the very least. But I won't be brimming with confidence going into their grounds and thinking, oh yeah, you know, them us getting into the playoffs and in spite of them or because of them. Yeah, it's not ironclad at all. There's no way. Like, there's no
it's
way
risky.
I would.
It's definitely. Yeah, this is a wild card to me. This is very, you know, who knows? This could go any which way, but I fully expect Orlando to revel in the opportunity to put us to the sword. So we'll see if they will come out and do that, even though, you know, whatever, they're already in the playoffs. So, but, you know, all right, let me read a couple of these and then we'll get into our first guest tonight. Just let them know. All right, so Jack Dickens says, I'll be honest, I still think no playoffs. Orlando are playing very good at the moment. I don't see us getting anything there. It's very possible. Andrew Redfern says, we had shots, just couldn't finish. Kyle Brown says, this team refuses to close games, do all the work, just to concede late. Doesn't matter if they have 10 or 11, we still concede. Yeah, It's like I said, it almost felt inevitable. Red Bulls always seem inevitable for us, even though we've got the better of them the last majority of times playing against them, which is not something I'd say in 2024, but here we are. So, we are joined with our good buddy Niall. Niall, how you doing? Welcome. Did you attend the game tonight?
I did, yeah.
How was it?
It was fun. A bit stressful at times, but yeah, fun.
Yeah, to say the least. What give me your. I could even probably ask for your top 5 most, nervy moments. There were so many.
Definitely one of them was when Ronald Hernandez had to clear the ball. It was almost like I think in it was early in the first half. It was almost a goal, and Ronnie had to clear the ball. Just also the wasting of chances as well was pretty stressful. But luckily we were able to get that sorted-ish. But yeah, those would say would be my top most stressful moments.
How about the Mike Conte said you could feel on the broadcast. He said you could feel the tension. It was so palpable with waiting on whether or not the penalty would be confirmed.
Yeah, that too. The VAR was pretty active tonight, so that was definitely there was a lot of tension there, and also just the decisions that the referee would make. Because for one of with the penalty, for example, he took quite a bit to check out to see if it was actually a penalty, which I think we all knew it was a penalty, but he took more long than I think usual to check at it when we were all what is this guy doing? It's a clear penalty, just call it.
Yeah, it was clear.
Yeah.
I don't know.
When you have to check that long, it's not clear and obvious, and so if you just you're nitpicking at that point, and so at that point it's
I shit you not. I shit you not. Jason and Mike literally on the broadcast said, I think they're looking for something, and I was like, wow, what an allegation. Just we want Red Bulls to win this game over Atlanta. Screw them. Damn.
I mean, obviously, the calls went our way, so, I think responsibility came in, maybe the integrity of their job came in to play. Who knows? But they went our way, so, I guess we can't.
Yeah, it's just what are you looking for? I guess they were probably, I don't know, my theory would, I guess, usually when these types of situations happen, is that before the penalty call, there was something that happened previously in a play or so before it that could have called it back. But when you saw the ref looking at the monitor, he was just looking at when the guy was pulling down TRA. So I don't know what you're asking him to look at. So it was weird. So yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very weird. But yeah, how'd you find the moments in the match, the game itself, the actual play?
I thought we played pretty decently. I thought that we were the better team. There were times where we definitely lacked a clinical finish, though. I would say we had quite a few chances that we were not able to convert, which is kind of a telltale story of this season, probably. But yeah, overall, I think the victory was deserved. It kind of sucks we couldn't keep the clean sheet, unfortunately. But I would say that we deserved the win.
Yeah, I think the amount of chances that we got and that we didn't bury, it was okay.
Yeah.
It's just one of those other nights, but yeah, I mean, the expected goals is just overwhelmingly us. And it's okay, one of these we will finish, right? I mean, it took, pretty much into stoppage time for us to get the second one, which turned out to be the winner. But yeah, I mean, Moranchuk got the man of the match. Did you feel like he deserved it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, albeit it's a penalty, but when you score a goal, and then when you also get an assist, I look back at the assist, and it was a pretty good, quick one touch and go assist. So yeah, I think he deserved man of the match for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think this is you know, a benefit of when you get 3 points. You can maybe kind of argue for some of the other players as well, which is something that we haven't been able to do in quite some time. What, 7 matches probably? We haven't won until tonight in 7 matches, but yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, you saw the form coming into this, and I think it was Doug Roberson that mentioned, okay, yeah, so we got 16 points in our first 16 matches, and we have had 18 points in the next 16 matches, not counting tonight. So yeah, and that was the Pineda era, and this is the Rob Valentino era. I mean, pretty much a wash as far as points go, but as far as differences that you've seen from Pineda's era this season to Valentino's era, like what can you gather besides, you know, like the play style is obviously different, but you know, other things within that are the minutia. Like what have you surmised from your experience watching Pineda ball and Valentino ball?
With Pineda ball, I feel like it was a lot more. I feel like it was a lot more like sort of stubborn approach. I think with the way that Rob has had this team play, it's been more of an approach where they've played, I would say in a way that like more in the counter, and like where they kind of like they kind of utilize their speed on the counter more than like have more possession of the ball. Like they don't feel a need to have an entire amount of possession of the ball. I mean, sure, they want to dictate the game, but also they feel like they can utilize the counter. So I would say that is probably one of the more main differences. They're more comfortable like sitting back, and part of that obviously has to do with the personnel that you have at this stage that is resulting in you playing this way. But yeah, I would say that's the main difference.
Mm-hmm. And as far as, I guess, man management, I mean, both are kind of known for, I think, you know, probably being more player coaches. Seems like they care about their players, not in a Gabriel Heinze type of way, which is the opposite, obviously. But, you know, as far as, like, besides the tactical differences, like, you know, obviously it really hasn't been that much better as far as, but the vibe feels different somehow.
I would say it's a yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
I would
Mm-hmm.
say yes, because I feel like there's more. I feel like with Rob, there's more of a no nonsense approach, where it's like, if like, you know, like it's like if you do this and like it's unacceptable, or you know, there's more of a like a more no nonsense approach. But then I would also say the vibes are also the same in the sense that, you know, like this team has just been very, I would say the team is just, I feel like has been just very felt very dull. Like it's been in a dull state. Like obviously you've had some moments like beating Columbus, for example, at home, and you know, playing Miami and a thriller match. But just the vibes have been, I would say, pretty similar. Like I think it was last match, Daniel Rios was like saying something about how, like, you know, like you know, the coaches have to find a solution or something like that, and like we the players and the coaches have to find a solution. So there's kind of also just a sense of like, I feel like with the players of them just wanting the season to be over, and that frankly has just been the case for most of the season since, you know, the key departures.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it definitely seems like motivation has been a factor for a lot of the players, and yeah, I mean, confidence isn't soaring either, and I think all that is just a microcosm of kind of the form of the players, and it's feeding into the stadium, unfortunately, and fans are not exactly, obviously clamoring for this team in terms of all that. But we talked about this last stream, but I wanted to kind of pose it to you in terms of this question. There's been a lack of, I think, connective tissue between the players that are on the squad and the fans. And the Alexei Miranchuk video where he's in my opinion, it's kind of a desperate sounding plea for fans to come to the stadium to kind of cheer the team on, but don't let it sway your opinion. But essentially, it seems like they're trying to maybe push Alexei Miranchuk into kind of that thing where fans can at least relate to somebody, because it seemed like last match Jose Martinez obviously is the household name in Atlanta, and he got the biggest cheers. He got cheered after he scored goals against us during the match, and it's this basically. I guess the question is, do you feel like there is maybe some sort of way that we can connect the players to the fans again? Because it very much seems like that's part of the reason why the stadium has been emptying and really not looking that great this season, besides the form. Because in some previous years we've had bad form, but we were still able to fill out the stadium. But is a lack of someone that the fans can really just grab onto like a big factor for you?
I would say that's definitely a factor, but I think more than anything, it's just a lack of success on the field. Like, because for example, like if the team was winning and they didn't necessarily have that many characters that many players that the fans could relate to, sure, like there would be complaints about how the players maybe don't connect that much with the fans, but I think there'd still be fans coming to the games because, hey, the team is having success on the field. So I'd say that's definitely a factor, but for me, I think success really is success is success. So that really for me is just the thing that more than anything else kind of determines whether or not the fans come. Definitely but definitely you're right about like the having players that connect to the fans. I would say, like, for example, Saba is definitely a player that for me I see him connecting to the fans quite a bit, but you need more players like that, and that's going to be the interesting thing in the off season. But for me, I think just winning kind of just helps to make those issues less apparent. So I think for me, like, the biggest problem is just the lack of success. Like, if the team was successful, then for me it wouldn't be in this scenario, honestly.
Yeah. And so, I mean, obviously our captain is Brad Guzan, and do you feel like fans connect with Guzan? I mean, it's
I feel like fans connect with Guzan. I mean, funny enough, today at the match, I saw somebody who was impersonating Brad Guzan. He was wearing an exact Brad Guzan costume with the gloves, the suit, and things like that.
A little early for Halloween. It's terrifying.
I know, right? That's stupid.
No, but yeah, he dressed up, and when the players did their walk around the stadium at the end of the match, there was lots of loud cheers for Goose. So I would say he's definitely a player that the fans still connect to, and obviously the fans still yell Goose like when he makes a save and things. Like that's why I would say that's still a player that they connect with. But obviously, the question is how much longer is he going to here? You know, I would say maybe I think he stays here for one more season, but we'll see what that decision is going to be.
Right. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, yeah, there's a lot of work to do to reconnect a lot of the fans back to this team because, yeah, there have been a lot that have kind of maybe fallen off along the way. I
mean, here's a hint. I'll give you a cheat code. Just hire players who have a personality, like people who are bombastic, who want to talk to the press, and who will be funny and charismatic. Like Dax McCarthy, I would imagine, is easy to get along with, and if he was a franchise player for us, as he was for other teams, he'd easily be someone you could connect to and, be all right with. So, you get guys like that, get someone who can, really, I mean, I love when Yorgos Yakimakis would go out into, and when Jose Martinez would go out and talk to the press, and they would say things like, we're here for blood, we're wanting to win, we're gonna, dominate. Like that, it gets you hyped, that gets you excited, they get your team like, okay, we're confident, let's get into this. Like that's what I want to see in their next hires. I want to see more of that.
Right. Instead of the nothing burger comments that most of the players unfortunately have given us recent years. But I think also this though, so you mentioned because of the team's form and all that, obviously there are fan bases that still show up in droves and, their team is awful. But obviously we have we still show up in droves, but obviously there is a caveat. Does that make a good number of the fan base fair weather fans, though, in your opinion? I give you a tough one, man. I know.
You're about to make people hate me. but I would say honestly yes. I would say yes because listen, I think I'm gonna say something that Frank de Boer has said about the United States. But
the infamous statement.
Yeah, the infamous statement. But we're frankly we frankly had the luck of the lot where we've been spoiled by this team. I mean, they come in, they have a stellar entrance to the league. They win MLS Cup in just their second season in MLS. Like that's not something that happens that much, let alone in Major League Soccer, but also just in professional sports in America. It's very hard to get in a team in America off to a start like that. And obviously, we've not had that same success. And I understand that there is frustration, especially with the way that we've been, performing really bad for the past couple of seasons. And I think, for sure, there are times where I'm frustrated as well. But I think there is I'm not saying all fans, but I'm saying I feel like there is some groups of people who are fair weather because because I feel like they're constantly stuck in that, back in the glory days sort of realm, sort of area, and they're not realizing that it's it's a different time period now. We're far past 2017. This is the new team. 80% of the people that were in this team are no longer here anymore. So I would say
I'll say way more than that, but yeah.
Yeah, way more than that, but yeah. But I would say that I understand the frustration, but I'd also say that they're definitely fair weather fans because with the less people just showing support. And I understand that the way we sort of watch soccer here and the way we follow sports here is different compared to Europe, obviously. But I think, part of the reason why other teams, other fans show up, like, no matter how their team is performing, is because they don't have the same standards that Atlanta United has. We have incredibly high standards, and we've, fallen below those standards, which is why so many fans are, losing touch. If that answers your question.
No, it does, because obviously we were promised a team that would compete year after year, and they just haven't. After the first 3 years, they just haven't competed. So it's like that was clearly a lie, and that these people bought on. Well, not a lie, just disingenuous. And so they came onto the program. The fans bought into this whole thing, believing that to be the case. And then when it wasn't, a lot of them left. And so that kind of mitigates a bit of the fair weatherness of the Atlanta United fans, but we also have to wrestle with the fact that Atlanta is known as a fairly fickle fan base in all of their sports. So, don't be shy in saying we have fair weather fans, because everyone pretty much knows we do.
And it's this. Niall, I really appreciate you answering this really tough question here, because it is, landmines everywhere. But it is this. It's like, yes, Atlanta is known as a fair weather fan base just in general, but it also is a very transplant town. Like, who's actually from here? Niall, you're from here. Michael, you're not from here. I was born in California, but I was raised here. So it is that, like, okay, but majority of the people that are fans of Atlanta United are fans of other sports teams in other cities. So when shit hits the fan, they're gonna go back to their other teams that are doing well, or pay more attention to it. Unlike, say, Europe, Argentina, Brazil, Mexico, where the only game in town is football. Or football. But basically it's like,
you'll see, AJ, the trick is just your team that you came from, to Atlanta from, that team, it has to be significantly worse than Atlanta United could ever do. And then you'll always be fine, because you'll never go back to them. And that's what I have done with the Philadelphia Flyers. So
right, I'm sure. Yeah, no, it's for me, obviously. Did you guys know I was an Arsenal fan? But but it doesn't seem like Atlanta United and Arsenal can be good in the same year, in the same calendar year.
So it's your fault.
Never. So it's my fault, guys. But so you can just direct all the vitriol towards me, guys. Yeah. But anyway.
All right, let me get a couple of these while we have Niall here. Let me get a couple of these comments in. Let's see. So Kyle Brown was saying the check for the confirming of the penalty was looking to see if TRA hooked the arm of the other player. So essentially, like, exacerbating the look of it. So CB Gaming, Amador deserves man of the match to me. Man, this dude has been putting in a clip. Like, he is either man of the match or the runner-up, like, every game. I'm astounded with this signing.
Right. The ability on the ball, on set pieces as well, the defending, the reading of the game, the winning the duels, the just very much so, like, unflappable in a sense of his demeanor. It doesn't seem like anything bothers him either. Like, this guy somehow, like, eschewed, wasn't really playing for his team. Great for us, obviously, because I think he's been more stout defensively than Caleb Wiley. He's been better in one-on-ones, because unfortunately,
and his crosses.
And his crosses. Exactly. Which, this is the thing. It's like, those are dangerous crosses. The other side, not so much usually, and so it's like when you really see like, oh man, yeah, like there's some actual like purpose to these balls, it's a stark difference. Like, man, what we could do with something on the right side too if we wanted that. But yes, he, I'm obviously talking about Lennon. He has 7 assists this season, but it's still like, like how many of our games are just like, we're just pumping it through the right side.
Yeah, I think you'd have to look at the proportionality. Like, he pumps in so many, and there's so few goals from them, versus Pedro doesn't put in that many, but when he does, it actually is pretty effective.
Their quality. And I think, Ronald Hernandez, he didn't have a bad match this
No, he had
game,
a good match in terms of Ronald Hernandez matches.
Right, exactly. There weren't exactly moments that it was like, oh no, he's getting cooked. Like, or, oh, he's playing the entire team onside. Or, any of that. But I think it was because he wasn't pumping in crosses from the right side. He's more of the kind of playmaker type of right back where, he might cut inside a little bit. He might try to, be clever with the ball, all that. More so, we didn't try to play through the right as much. And it really allowed us to play through the left more, which I think we saw more quality. Saw more. And
that's probably where Red Bull probably thought we were going to be playing through a lot on the right side, because we traditionally do. So they weren't really ready for the Amador train coming into station. So I was excited for that.
That and Mascara. Like, it was basically them two were terrorizing their right side. It was like, okay, like, we can feast. Like, they were cooking. They didn't know what they were cooking, unfortunately, for the first half. It was just a kind of a blind meal there. Definitely was not. It wasn't tasty until the second half. We're gonna beat this metaphor into the ground. But anyway, Niall, final thoughts.
We're still alive, I guess, for now. Until decision day. Like,
hey, we're not Nashville.
We're not Nashville. That's true.
They're not in it anymore. So sucks to suck, I guess.
Yeah. Final thoughts. It's a good win. I mean, this is our second, I think, season win against Red Bull. So nice to get a win against them. We'll see what happens. 2 weeks from now. It's weird that we have an international break, like right before decision day. Like, I don't get who makes these decisions, but
I think for me it made sense. I don't like it, but it made sense in this because we had the midweek match and then we had this match. They're trying to rush all these games in before decision day, which after the international break, they don't want teams to just go in cold. They want a little bit of momentum instead of like big 2-week international window and then, oh, hey, by the way, there's playoffs. Like, so I get that, but it's also like, man, like we're like, how these international breaks just kill
momentum.
Stop, start.
Yeah. Like, like the Charlotte game, we won at Charlotte, but then the international break, and then like we go off.
Yeah, I mean, if prospective coaches and maybe to a lesser degree players, they talk to big name guys in our league like Tata Martino. Tata Martino will give you an earful about MLS's schedule matching up with international breaks and how it cuts and slashes through everything.
I mean, he knows it from both sides.
Yeah,
so
and he hates it.
Yeah, like I would bet, Tata Martino, I think he would probably want to do away with like 3 or 4 of the international windows. It's like, because I mean, let's be honest, last month's was completely useless. Like, it's just like, and for other reasons as well, I'm pissed about last month's international window, but we won't go into in this podcast, but But anyway, yeah, Niall, pleasure as always. Have a great rest of your night.
All right, thanks, guys.
Take care, bud. All right, so we do have 2 other guests that were potentially interested in coming on tonight, but I need to hear some confirmation whether or not they're able to. I know one was heading back from the stadium, and actually both of them were heading back from the stadium. So there may have been some extracurriculars.
There were some festivities after the match where people were pumped about the 3 points, and so definitely, that's back a little bit, at least for a night. And
the tailgate was being lit, and after the game, the tailgate would continue. Sometimes, I don't know if anyone's familiar, but after games, a lot of times the tailgate back in the lot keeps bumping into the night. So, it can be pretty crazy. We did some soccer late into the night one night, a lot of drinks. It's a crazy time. So I think that's probably a bit of what's going on. So we'll see. We'll see if we hear any signs of life from them. And until then, we'll read a couple more comments, and then if not, we'll get into our last opinions about this game.
Right. Usually a lot of alcoholism perpetuating. So,
yeah. Let's see. Okay, so Kyle Brown says, oh yeah, he's just responding to what we were saying. Like, Rios is still getting minutes. Rios equals Kubrick equals Kubo. I think he's probably talking about Kubo Torres, perhaps.
Yeah, Kubo. Yeah, I don't equate them. Rios has been far more productive and more useful.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. And if he was our 3rd striker next season, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, agree. Kyle also says Joseph was a star. We don't have anyone that commands that type of attention. That's correct. Right now we don't. CB Gaming says this team doesn't seem to have any chemistry together. Big plays here and there, but no true cohesion where we can make play after play and not rely on a set piece. Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's obvious to me, at least, that when the reason why we have inconsistent results is because of what you're saying. Like, we rely on moments of, like, hero ball, glory, whatever, talent, and or luck, and we might eke out a win, nick something here or there, but there doesn't seem to be any system. There doesn't seem to be any repeatability in what we're doing. It just is. And that's not a recipe for success long term. So, yeah, I agree with you there. I think that will come more next season.
Yeah, there is this, though. It's I think there is this, like, idealistic way of football that can get a little bit, I wouldn't say toxic, but it's something in that realm of, like, something before toxic, in the sense that set pieces are a great way to score goals and are very repeatable, and especially from corners, free kicks. If you have quality on those and have figured out ways to exploit the opposition, take advantage of all those percentages as much as you can. And so, not every goal has to be scored from the run of play for it to be like, oh yeah, like the team played well. It's like, you guys should practice. Like, the team should practice every aspect of football and try to get every ounce of a way to win from every aspect. Because especially if you're not a team that scores very much from the run of play, this team find other ways to score. Like, if your center back is 6'5" and can win headers in the box, and you're not able to score from the run of play very much, well, find a way to win. Like, especially if it's within a season where you can't make any more moves. Like, you better find whatever it takes. And that's kind of the problem, is like, we don't do that. Like, we just kind of lump in the balls. We don't take our time. We Yeah, we don't do long throws. We don't just all these percentages that we need.
Yeah.
We don't do.
1 second. Okay, so let me read a couple more of these. Drew hitting us up from his account Lightning0491 in the chat says, "Let's go another W when I show up to a game 5 in a row." So I think we all need to band together and finance him to go to all these games going forward, because apparently that's what's getting us these wins. He also says, Mike with the self roast as the Flyers fan. Yeah, I mean that's all it ever is. It's all it ever is. You know, they don't give you anything more than they don't afford you anything more than the ability to just self roast, because self emulate or immolate. Sorry, not emulate.
Yeah, it's like Cleveland for a while. Like, man, if you said you were from Cleveland or a fan of Cleveland sports, it's like, oh.
Yeah. I mean, like, other Philadelphia teams are do fine, but Flyers just are not that. So
they're the stepchild, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yeah. So a new Wiseman says, after seeing 2 goals disallowed, I started thinking that MLS needs Atlanta in the playoffs too. Kyle Apigar says, that game we didn't deserve, but I'll take what discount food we can get cooking. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. I mean, again, it's for me, as long as we're sticking it to a rival like Red Bulls, yeah, it's like, take that L, have fun. Like, yeah, it doesn't serve us much, for the most part. Do we deserve it? Like I said, whatever. But if you're upset by it, if we make their fan base upset, good.
Right. I mean, I agree with that. I hold umbrage of we didn't deserve it. Like, we deserved it.
Oh, no, I meant deserve, like I said earlier, deserve to make the playoffs.
Oh. Yeah, well, that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, exactly. CB Gaming says, our problem with all the crosses we make is that there is never someone back post, and the ball always goes back post. Yeah, and not only just back post, but back, way back, like way overcooked. So
it's just not a variety of crosses. It's just we're always hitting it to, like, it's a high cross. And then it's maybe to the back post. It's not to the penalty spot. It's never to the front post. Where maybe a flick on can happen. No one ever makes a run to the front post to maybe be able to, sweep it in, or just cause chaos, or like hit it on the ground, or hit it into the 6-yard box where you never know what could happen.
Yeah.
It's just the same type of ball, and I think the difference tonight is there's a little bit more variety in the service from the left. And so, Mascara, his crosses were a lot left to be desired, especially early on. But I think, it was
early on. Our crosses were abysmal this game.
Yeah, they were overcooked constantly, and it's just like, it's gonna be one of these nights, but. Yeah, he started not crossing as much and just dribbling at his man and, laying it off, that type of thing. And it was a lot better. It was just a lot better.
And can we have, multiple runners off the ball, just come in so we could maybe do a, as in the Spanish, it's the pass of death, like the cutback pass. Can we please do more of that? That always makes me really happy.
Right. We never, like, I don't remember a cutback this match.
No, I don't think we did win this match. We rarely do them, if ever.
Right. And that's how you unsettle a defense. Like, that's one of the passes that's so effective. And we have guys that can get to the byline. It's not like we have a slow team. Like, you have Mascara, you have Saba, you have Lennon. They all can get to the byline.
Yeah.
But we don't do it.
Mm-hmm. And it's just nice about, like, what's nice about that type of, like, cutback play, too, is if a guy gets on the ball and kicks it, like, you don't really have to fear a reprisal from the other team immediately. Like, yeah, because maybe, like, a center back or a fullback or someone runs onto that because they're the extra guy because everyone else is committed, like, you don't really have to worry. Because if you don't, hit it into the goal, it's likely going out of bounds, so it's going to take a little while to restart. So just have at it. But we just don't do it. Kyle Aberger says, best run of play was that goal by Wolf. That is how we should be with the breakneck counterattack. Yeah, that was old Atlanta United. That's what reminded me of old Atlanta United. It also kind of reminded me of some of Caleb Wiley's goals. It was just fun to see that speed, the young guy getting the ball, running out ahead, and then just being as I think Mike Conte said, I think it was him. He said he's got ice in his veins. Coolly put it away. Really liked seeing that. That was fun.
It really is. It's like that's how Wolf should be utilized. Is he is clinical in front of goal. Like, yeah, his first touch was a shot that just narrowly missed. But like, he's that kind of second striker type of guy, and so you give him a chance in front of goal, he's gonna strike it pretty well. And he's got enough pace and he's got enough composure in front of goal to make it happen. And I don't think he's a left winger, I don't think he's a striker, but he could thrive in some sort of system that just utilizes his running ability. And you need runners.
Yeah, because Miranchuk can hit that ball. That was a wonderful pass.
Exactly. And it was a little bit surprising to see. It was like,
I thought Red Bull was going to get a foot on that. I was certain that was not going to get through. But wow. Yeah.
And so it's like, I think we've been square pegging, round holing, or whatever the saying is.
Square pegging, round hole, yeah.
Yeah, square pegging, round hole on Wolf. And a number of these players. It's like they just don't fit a cohesive system, and that's really been the problem. It's just majority of these players, it's like, what are we trying to do with each player within a cohesive, just like, what as far as if you like, we could have gone like deep dive into like each player in every line, and it's like, okay, what are we trying to do here? And it just doesn't make sense. It's just like, oh, are they are they a good enough player at their position? Okay, great, let's bring them in. But then it's like, yes, that's what it is. It's like, we have players that we feel like have the talent, but it's just, what are we doing with it? Like, they don't. There is no, like, with the pullbacks, just to harken back to that, like, we have some players that can hit it on that third man run. I feel like Schleich, Orchin, both can hit it from distance.
Oh yeah, Schleich would love to do it.
Yeah, and Schleich can slot it in from the penalty spot, I have no doubt. And it's just a matter of, we don't have the person making that run to the byline and then someone making that third man run. And but Nick, welcome in.
Oh,
you got back from the stadium.
My God, what a night! My freaking God!
Tell us about it. Where are you at right now? How are you feeling?
I just want to say, you don't have any preference on colorful language, do you?
No, not right now.
Fuck the Red Bulls. Fuck them. Jesus Christ, they played us so dirty tonight. Unreal what they were trying to pull on us. Yeah. And unfortunately, the ref saw right through it every step of the way.
Yeah. I mean, they probably deserved a red card the first time it was, but somehow, okay, said it wasn't, just a yellow, fine. But that dog so is just,
That was brutal. Alexi came up big when we needed that.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very key
2 for 2. He's becoming a very reliable penalty taker.
3. I was saying to everyone, that's 3 for him. That's 3 total. You know, the 3 of many more to come. I hope.
Well, I wonder if our next 9 is going to want that spot. I don't know.
Who knows? I mean, the kid came to play, you know.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, it was beautiful when he got subbed out. He of course went the far side of the field and came down in front of us in the supporter section. He was applauding everybody, you know, everybody in the stands as he walked by.
I love that. I love that.
That man needed us, and we needed him. I will tell you.
Right.
And
I will say this: it's like the sorry to cut you off there, but having a good penalty taker, you know, and if our next 9 is a good penalty taker, having more good penalty takers sounds great. As far as the troubles that we've gone through, so you know, load them up.
Yeah.
Because
seriously.
yes.
I'd like to put all that the history of never winning penalty shootouts behind us.
Exactly. But anyway, Nick, go on.
Leagues Cup 2024, anyone?
Mm-hmm. Or Leagues Cup 2023.
Yeah, that too.
Or 2017 playoffs. Or,
yes, I was thinking of that earlier.
Oh, yeah, the shusher. Adam John.
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
It was funny. It was funny, you know. So, for those of you who don't know, after the match, a lot of people even don't know what happens after the match. Is that a lot of us in the TIFO committee and others in the supporter group, we stay behind. We have to break down the flags and we go down underneath. There's a stage in the front. We go down underneath into a suite, put everything in bins, roll them and the drums away, and put them in a cage on the other end of the stadium. We go through the bowels at field level, you know, and we go by the locker rooms on our way over to the other side of the stadium. Garth was over there. Garth Lagerway was over there tonight. And he fist bumped all of us as we went by with the bins.
Nice.
And he said, "Did you have fun tonight?" And I said, "Yes, I did."
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously he's not the same type of CEO like Darren Eales, but yeah, it's great to hear that, you know, he was, you know, yeah, kind of at least in it with the fans a little bit, at least when he saw them. So yeah, good to hear for sure. But
I tell you, for me, the energy in the supporter section was better than it has been in a while.
It sounded like it came through on the broadcast too.
Oh yes, I'm sure it did, because we were losing our minds.
Yeah.
And
it was a topsy-turvy game.
Yeah, last match it was definitely disjointed, as disjointed as I have ever heard it. But yeah, quick 180 in this match. What do you feel like, besides maybe the game itself? Because, well, I felt like it was rowdy before the match actually started. Mm-hmm. But yeah, what do you feel? What did you feel like different?
I felt like there was, well, early on it was just kind of level, you know, and we were trying to amp it up as we usually do, and somehow after halftime, excuse me, sorry.
You're fine.
Sorry, that's what you get. That's what you get for chugging orange soda real fast.
That'll do it to you.
When we came back to the second half, I felt a vibe change from the first half, and it was not the team; it was the whole atmosphere. I felt like, well, it was scoreless for one thing, you know. So I was like, it wasn't the worst half we've ever played. It wasn't the best either, you know. I felt like they came out. Our team, our side came out and started to play with a little more determination. They controlled the ball a little bit more, and we were feeding them more than we were in the first half. We already were. So I felt like there was a symbiosis going on, that everyone was turning it up a notch, and that really that might have gotten in New York's head a little bit. That we were turning it up. I felt like the Benz was going back to the fortress it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
I really felt that, and it was glorious. I was having fun, and that's not a lot. That's something I've not said a lot this season. That I was having fun. It felt like we were laying a smackdown again. You know, to borrow a phrase from another sport. You know.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we dominated in basically every statistic. Like we ran them off the pitch. If you know.
Those frustrations boiled over with the red card, definitely.
Yeah, because like things that people. I was saying like after the game, Red Bull's gonna Red Bull, and they're always gonna play it. They're always gonna be difficult for us for whatever reason, and so of course they got their goal back, and they almost had 3 at the end of the night. But some people are also telling me, well, actually no. The way I see it is that Atlanta's gonna Atlanta and find a way to lose. And so, like, I was like, I mean...
The other team can tactics as well.
Yeah.
And that's, they're playing their game as well. And so it's not completely entirely always on us. But, I would say Red Bulls made the mistake of basically the melee. And it woke up the stadium.
Yeah.
Like, that got... Like when it popped up, everyone woke up.
I mean, you guys know, like Red Bull's here for that. Like you remember Kamar Lawrence, like pushing, like choke slamming Jose Martinez. Like we have a history with this team. That's why we have quote unquote bad blood with them. So, it's
exactly
we're used to.
I mean, and they are that team that there's a lot of people that call them their rival. And I've seen their fan base be like, oh, everyone wants to be our rival and everyone hates us, blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, I mean, it kind of just seems like, when there's that many instances of them just being like the asshole, well, it is very much, maybe it's not, everybody else. Maybe it's you.
Yeah.
So...
That's what happens when you're owned by an Austrian syndicate energy drink mafia.
Yep. There it is. But yeah, and then apropos that you used SmackDown because at State Farm Arena right next door, there was WWE. So
yeah, I think Glenn went to that.
No fucking way.
Yep. Yeah. You didn't know.
I had no idea.
You didn't know, but yeah.
and a gamer convention. GWC.
Yeah, DreamHack at the Georgia World Congress Center is going on this weekend.
Oh man. Yeah, that's why it was like a little bit more packed because I was like, okay, I mean the Benz wasn't this packed. Like, who are all these people? And where did you come from? Okay, yeah, that makes more sense now. But
and then as I was coming on, then the Georgia Tech fans got on at North Avenue. So they also won tonight. So
look at that, good for them. Rambling Rex.
Yeah. Now we just have to find out if Cody Rhodes he won the match tonight. He's a Marietta boy.
The wrong person.
I know. Who knows? Somebody look it up. I can't right now, but then it would be multiple Georgia, entities winning in one day, which hasn't been a thing. R.I.P. Braves. But anyway.
Yeah. All right. Well, now we have Nick here for a minute. Let me get through some of these comments. We got a few of them. Jeffrey Barber says, is Patrick Vieira coming to Atlanta United? It's a very strong possibility. I think everyone here would put it as strong possibility.
Yeah, he's rumored. It's he's a finalist. And at this point, they're not going to make the decision right now.
No.
They're going to make the decision when
that's in the offseason.
The season's over, and probably make the actual announcement at a very strategic time.
Yeah.
If you were to make the announcement now, that would really fuck with Rob Valentino and the team. So
True.
It's not what you want to do.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. Connor Thompson says, last home game dub. He also said, also, tons of mad Red Bulls on Twitter. Yeah, I love that. I love to see that. So, again, I love that. Like, we can just kind of, and that's just like, I hope we can ride this salt train all the way to Orlando and continue this trend of making our quote-unquote rival boogeyman teams upset. Even though it doesn't matter for any of them because they're already in the playoffs. But whatever, I don't care. I'm taking my W's when I can get them.
I did send a message to my college buddy who's a Charlotte fan. I've mentioned him before on the show, and said, thank you for being Montreal tonight. Fuck the Red Bulls. He said, fuck the Red Bulls right back.
Yeah,
you know?
100%. Yeah, it's like it's like, you know, the Northeast teams, they have this like, you know, thing about them. Philadelphia likes to say like, nobody likes us and we don't care. Like the Red Bulls, I'm sure would adopt that if they could. You know, they're kind of just, you know, jerks in that way. So
let's go back to being the Metro Stars, please.
Yeah, right. Connor Thompson also says, poop to all the Red Bulls fans. Yes, that is a weird emote, like pink poop. That's weird.
Shit.
And he also said, is that a Thrashers gear guy on the left? Are you talking? I guess he's talking to me. I do have some Thrashers stuff. I have a Thrashers jersey. There's some Blue Land flags in the back. I don't know what he's referring to outside of that. So yes, there are some Thrashers stuff here. I was
to a Thrashers game way back in the day.
I went to a Thrashers game a year or and some change ago. I'm just kidding. But no, it was a Gladiators game that they dressed.
Saying, what parallel universe?
They dressed the Gladiators. The Gladiators dress as the Thrashers at least once a year for a game.
Oh.
Yeah, and so yeah, we got these. Let's see if you can see it on the camera. Yeah, these are the Gladiator.
Going to the Broncos games, but man, yeah, it took me 7 games for me to see a fight.
I mean, that's the thing. You got to watch the Philadelphia Flyers because occasionally during the fight, a hockey game will break out.
Yeah, right. Yeah. See, that's, you know, at least if you guys suck, it's like at least there's entertainment, right? So, you know,
undefeated in fisticuffs, but outside of that, not very good hockey. CB Gaming says, I still believe in Blue Land. Yeah, amen, brother. I mean, there's some serious rumors Atlanta's going to get an NHL team soon. So, and it's probably going to be the Thrashers again. So, I'm fingers crossed. Atlanta United Fan TV may branch out into also a hockey podcast. We will see. Keep it posted on that. Kyle Appiger says, run Wolf as an attacking center mid. He can make those forward runs when the striker drops back to pick up the ball and draw the defense forward as Wolf makes his break.
That was beautiful, by the way.
Center mid. I don't think he's good enough on the ball. Yeah, I mean, he works hard enough. But yeah, I mean, I think there are aspects to his game that he absolutely needs to iron out, kind of level up. But yeah, you know, I think his ability right now, anyway, is to
do what he did tonight. That's what we need him to do.
Yeah, like he in front of goal, like give him chances.
Yeah. Like he's the right place, right time guy a lot, and we just need to get him there to do that.
That's what I was going to say on that goal he made. He was in the right place at the right time.
Mm-hmm. He's got a little bit of a nose for that. That's good. You know, that's what you need. Mavery in his cuisine says, "Hey guys, just checking in real quick between UFC fights. I'm so happy we got a final home win after this exhausting season. Doesn't feel like certain players are finding chemistry together, but like AJ said, we don't have the chemistry in the right places. I think we should bring in a European striker to work well with Marinchuk and Saba, and find guys who play with heart like those two. With that being said, how the hell was there not a second red card alongside that PK? And how do you guys feel about Rob Valentino's second interim coaching stint? Can we say that he stopped the bleeding?"
No.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, Doug. Yeah.
No, I was just saying no. Go ahead, AJ.
Yeah. I'm saying no because, well, yeah. Earlier on in the episode, I did mention that. So, Pineda was in charge of 16 games and got us 16 points. Rob Valentino, before this match, was in charge of 16 games, gave us 18 points. So yeah, marginally better. We have looked better on the road, not completely anemic, but you know, at home we've just been. It is what it is. We know like this mess, But notwithstanding tonight, we were able to kind of exercise some demons, which great. But in the large scheme of it all, Valentino, great man manager. I'm not sure he's ready yet as an out and out head coach who can go toe to toe with the best head coaches in this league and outmaneuver them, adjust on the fly, just get every ounce out of the talent in these players.
Yeah.
I don't think he's there yet.
I completely agree. I mean, we need someone to come in next season, hit the ground running, and lead us to a cup with or at least compete for a cup. Maybe not. We're not fully 100% there yet, but I feel like we need to we need to focus our trajectory on being competitive and having a chance for the cup next season. And I don't think Rob can do that. I think we need a coach who can, someone who's tried and proven, a true killer, just like who I want, people brought in for the number 9 and or perhaps another DP like Winger or things like this. Just players who are proven that can get the job done, because I don't think anyone has any patience left. It's go time next season. Like, that's the trajectory, and we need the personnel in order to get us there.
Let me ask you both this question. Do you think if it's Patrick Vieira or whoever is hired as the head coach and whoever is hired as the GM, we know the guy, I forget his name, from Miami, is the rumor right now. Yeah. Does Rob Valentino survive on the coaching staff at all? I
mean, he's been the Dick Cheney to, for a long time. So, I mean, he could be. I don't know.
What a metaphor, I guess.
He's in the background. He sticks around in the background.
Yeah.
Presidents change. He just hangs around.
Right. I think it's this. Rob Valentino, he's been part of a lot of the coaching regimes, right? But unfortunately, he's also been a part of a lot of the non-winning regimes as well. And I think it would be supremely awkward for a new head coach if they are not someone that maybe is a new coach. They're going to have their guys. And if he's kept on, I think the reason would be for continuity. He knows his organization in and out. Maybe he's moved to a more, kind of maybe academy or developmental type of position as far as Valentino. But as far as the first team, one of the assistant coaches, I think we need some different voices. And, again, great guy. Like, by all accounts, seems like a person that I would like to keep around. But it's a matter of, will the new head coach want him there? I think that's a big factor.
Yeah. And can you help Mavry out with answering his question about what did he say? He said how the hell was that not a second red card alongside that penalty kick?
Was it the same player?
I don't know.
Yeah. Like, inside the stadium, it's not always, like, if I'm watching the broadcast, it's a lot easier to know which players and which. But, I can't definitively say without rewatching it, I think. So, unfortunately, I can't answer your question there. But.
Okay. Let's see. Drew says, sign me up for that hockey podcast. Yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely have you on for that one, too. I want to do it with Tommy from Scars of Spikes, too, because he's a big hockey fan. Too bad he likes the Ducks, which is, similar to the the Flyers, a consistently masochistic team. So,
Quack.
Yeah.
Quack. Quack.
Yeah.
Quack.
The slow quack build.
quick. All right.
Tommy would be very happy when he saw that. Omar said Xavier Woods, WWE, one of my favorite Golden Spike hitters. We need Cody or AJ Styles sometime. Xavier Woods was hype along with the SS Capos. Drew said, today's game confirmed to me we need to start looking for an upgrade on Lennon or to start playing through Amador a lot more. Yeah, I agree.
That's a good observation right there.
Yeah. Yeah, Drew's got a couple of them.
Something changed.
Yeah, to a degree. Yeah, I agree with that. It's clear Amador is serviceable for an attacking piece now. So, yeah, regardless of whether or not we keep Lennon, I think we need to focus the attack more so on Amador and not as heavily reliant on Lennon. So, production can come from both.
Exactly. It's just more balance because we've been heavily reliant on the right side, and it's not maybe archaic, but it is a little bit more just like the naive attacking when you have two flying fullbacks. It's just not the modern game anymore. Like right now, it's more about inverting your fullbacks, but also having dynamic fullbacks. So it's not just like, okay, one note, that's all they do. So that, I feel like there was actually a little bit more balance because Ronald Hernandez stayed home a little bit more, and maybe played a little bit more of as an interior at times, and wasn't always just flying forward and leaving basically his side exposed, because that's what happens a lot. Is that Lennon tracking back wise is just he does, but he doesn't always put himself in the position to actually defend the best.
Yeah. And sometimes you can't physically just get back in time if you've put yourself up so forward and there's a counter, which we know Red Bull will always angle to do. That's their whole game plan. So it's good that Ronald stayed home more often.
Right.
So let's see. And Omar said, to be fair, sorry. TBF could mean, I guess, both of those. To be fair to Valentino, he didn't have an Almada or GG to rely upon, so it kind of even exacerbates the success that Valentino has had in the 16 games and has gotten more points with a inferior roster. Now, I did see Doug on Twitter retort that, Pineda actually had a lot of injuries to deal with as well, and a lot of those to those specific star players and absences. So there's a bit of a mitigating effect there, but I still think it's worth noting from Omar's point. Yeah, I mean he's done a lot without a starting DP striker, which most MLS teams just won't be able to do much without that. Mavery in his cuisine says, I was in the stadium and kind of missed what sparked the scuffle that resulted in those 3 yellow cards. Guess I'll watch the replay too,
very
AJ.
Stupid foul. That's what
thanks.
Started
I'll see you guys on decision day. I mean, there was a push. Yeah, there was a push on Gregerson, and Gregerson pushed back. And then that was getting a yellow card from that.
His question was for the penalty.
Right.
It wasn't there wasn't a red card for the penalty. There's a red card for Dogso. So that's what we're talking about. And if we're talking about the Dogso movement, I mean, I don't think a push, while it may be violent, it doesn't necessarily mean a red card. Like you still have to control the game. The ref needs to just lower the temperature, and it doesn't need to end in half the team being sent off. Like you kill the game at that point. That's not their responsibility is to be an arbiter of the game for the entertainment for the fans. That part is a very important aspect of reffing, I feel like, because if you let the game go completely out of control, well then then it's like, what if you have a 9v8, and it's who's wanting to watch that? It might be helter skelter, or say if it's a really, really good, say it was if we went down to 10 men against Columbus, or Inter Miami. Like, hell no, it's not going to be interesting. We're going to be parked up in our box.
Yeah.
And they're just going to be, passing it around, trying to find space and all that. Like, no.
Yeah, give it to Lionel Messi to try and hit a wonder shot. That's what they'll do all day and all day. So, just to give you a chronological order of the events. So, it's interesting. SofaScore calls it professional foul last man is what was essentially the dog. So that ended in a red at the 66th minute. Then Emil Forsberg got a yellow at the 69th minute for argumentation. And then Gregerson got a yellow at the 70th minute, along with Coronel, the goalie of Red Bull, and Nealis as well. There's two Nealises on Red Bull, I've noticed. Interesting. So yeah, one of them was thrown off, another one got a yellow
card at some point.
Yes, there are two bench yellow cards. One was for Rob Valentino, one was for Sandro Schwartz.
Valentino got a yellow card? I missed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't announce that. Yeah.
No, they did not.
No.
And then at the last, Eel, I don't know how to pronounce his name, at the 90th minute had a yellow card, which finished off the yellow cards, which was 6 for Red Bull and 1 red card for them.
Mm-hmm. It just exemplified the night that it was. It was, they basically were very haphazard with the fouls that they were committing, and they deserved it. It's just like some of the moments, it was like, oh man, that is dangerously close to being the last man. And finally it happened. And so, they were playing with fire the entire time. We'll take it. It helped us, obviously.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, if you want to bring a hockey analogy into this.
Please do.
I went to a minor league hockey game. I lived in Knoxville for 10 years, Knoxville, Tennessee. And the Knoxville Ice Bears are a great minor league hockey team up there. And one time I went to a game. We were up 12-2 in the third period. I'm not kidding. That was really the score. And the other team, and minor league hockey is great for this reason. The other team had been committing cheap little tacky shots all night. About midway through the third period, 3 separate times, all the gloves went down. All out brawl. A lot of game misconducts were headed out. They were playing, I think, 4-on-4 for at least 5 minutes afterwards.
Wow. And that's what it is.
Rejected. That's how bad it got.
Yeah.
You love minor league hockey.
Right. Minor league hockey, you're always going to see a fight.
Yep.
I think I've been to 2 or 3 Gladiators games, and it's like there's at least one. It's at least one fight each time, and it's not usually just one. So
yeah,
that's what you go there for, unfortunately. But
it kind of felt like it might have been heading into the MLS equivalent of that at that point. That the dog so happened and things started to get chippy and bodies start to go down on the turf. I'm like, this is a flashback.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it,
that's what you can expect. That's what you can expect from Red Bull games. It just seems to be what happens.
My favorite is Tito at Red Bull Arena raising up the trophy. His hands are doing that action when he's walking off. And that just forever is just like
and that stuck with them. That is everything that they do when they're just like, I get you back. It's like, it's because of that. I remember.
Right, exactly. And because it's we raised the Eastern Conference Finals trophy on their grounds. That's what it is. Those are those bragging rights. So it makes me feel a little bit better about the next match, which is against Orlando City, or, as we lovingly call them, the Disney Kitties. And, your confidence going in, Nick, because what we talked about last match, but also earlier on in this episode, that, we kind of have it all to play for. We have to do the business at this, the city grounds. So, it isn't exactly a scenario that I would love, but how do you feel, going in now? That's we have to take care of business. We basically have to win, at the Disney Stadium.
With us being more of a road team this season, apparently, than being a home team, you would think we have an advantage. But Orlando's riding pretty high. I mean, they've clinched a playoff spot. It's going to come down to, did they really want to try to ruin our day, or are they going to park the bus and play bench warmers? That really is what
I got to imagine. Like, what is it? Pareja, like, is that still the coach? I mean, the coach is going to be, I think he's going to be very pragmatic and want to do that, but I think that the narrative, the media, the people, the fans will kind of get in their heads a bit and make them feel like they should put us to the sword. So maybe that'll affect it a bit. I think there might be some fireworks in the game. We'll see. Maybe they'll believe their own hype, like the rivalry match, etc., whatever. So we'll see.
They beat Cincinnati 3-1 tonight, by the way.
Cincinnati's been weird the last couple weeks, so I don't know what's going on with them.
Yeah, I think they probably see that. It's a little bit the supporter shield, is out of question now, and now they're kind of just clinging on to that second spot. Which, I mean, I think what happened in the Columbus match. I didn't check that score.
The Columbus won 3-2.
Right. So it's
Yeah, they are now in the second spot. Cincinnati's in 3.
Yeah. There it is. Exactly. So they've been on a little bit of a free fall, but Orlando City, on them, they don't really have any players that were part of that rivalry, really. At least, our early rivalry, and so it's. Yeah, I don't.
Well, the goalie,
Galese. Yeah, not really. I mean, he wasn't really there. Maybe in the kind of I would say almost like the aftershock type of moments. I think he hasn't been there long enough in the early parts of where it was actually contentious. Recently, I don't really feel like maybe it's been as tense, and it's that. It's
Fair.
I think it'll be very interesting, between the fans, but I don't know if it's going to be as interesting between the players. So
yeah, I feel like Junior Urso left their team maybe a year or so ago, and he was a big one for them, as being a boogeyman. And what was the other guy's name? Ruan, was it? I think. And then
I think, yeah. And oh man, I just
that pacey dude who just sprinted down the wing crazy fast. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't think there's as many characters, but we'll see. I mean, it's maybe the fans there will, kind of remind the players as much, and I think I'm sure
it's just they take them, the fans collectively take the players aside and put their arm around their shoulder and go remember, we hate them. and this foreign player who's never been to who's never seen Atlanta ever is just wait, who are they? So
yeah, I was about to say, you said we hate them, and we're like, do you really? Oh, bless your heart.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly, because for a very long time, they've just been the, it's that's nice. Anything that they've pretty much tried to say, in as far as banter or trolling LA United fans, it's just oh yeah, okay, good try. It's and
do you think they'll have a tifo?
Ooh, I don't know. Probably. For decision day, yeah, but it's the thing. It's
oh man, oh no! What if it's a "you shall not pass" or something that would be really annoying.
Oh, don't give them ideas, Mike.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they already did that. I think
they don't watch this show. It's okay. Don't worry.
Oh, they have in the past actually. So
that's true.
I'm still getting notifications about the. There's this one video on a fan cam that this woman was talking about the violence from the Orlando City fans. Basically, they're still commenting on that video, which is
wow.
Nuts.
That's living in the past.
2017.
Wow.
Like they've still gone back and revisit. Like, listen, Nick, I don't know if you heard, but and I don't know if you know one of the previous people that was on this channel, Tanner, but he got a full ransom note sent to his work, and yeah, I don't know how they found out where he worked, but it's because they listened to our podcast and found out that he was working at the team store at that time, and so yeah, they sent him purple peanuts in a package and what was written as like a really strange ransom note. And yeah, I also got a death threat on Twitter from an Orlando fan. So yeah, fun times.
Class acts.
For a long time. Yeah, for a long time I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm welcome in Orlando. But yeah, I was able to go there as not an LA United fan one time and recently, and yeah, Atlanta United fans recognize me, but thankfully, probably no Orlando fans recognize me. So unscathed.
AJ, we're gonna have to put you in the witness protection program.
I know, right? Seriously.
Maybe, but anyway, so little anecdote there.
Yeah. A little history, some lore.
Nick. Yeah, exactly. Nick, final thoughts.
This was absolutely the statement we needed to make tonight. To tell the league we still mean something. We're still here. We're still alive. We live to fight another day. I'm very trepidatious and excited to see what happens in 2 weeks in Orlando. And you'll find me at Woof's at the watch party for All Stripes in 2 weeks.
Sounds good.
And if any of my All Stripes people are watching this, please come to the damn watch party.
Yeah.
Don't leave just me and Chris there, which is the last watch party last Saturday. We ended up going to Sweetwater. It's like, please show up.
Yeah.
We need you.
Seriously. Come on. Go to a watch party. It's fun. All right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So, Nick, thanks for hanging out. We'll talk to you. Probably not for the next one. You'll probably be at the watch party. But we'll see.
I'll find a way.
Yeah, no, however you want to patch in, we're here for it. So don't worry about it.
Thank you to everyone for your support. We appreciate it. In the supporter section, out of the supporter section, beside the supporter section. I finally got fucking 102 to do something tonight. That I want to say.
That is I think you should be proud of that. Yeah, it's a tough section to. Yeah.
I got people asking me, what are you chanting? I said, atlchants.com. Go there.
You should have a shirt that just says that.
Right. It should just be on the back of everyone that's in the supporter section. But, yeah, anyway. All right. But, yeah, always a pleasure,
everyone. Man. Thank you. Bye.
See you, Nick. All right, let's get our last guest on real quick. Just hear his thoughts because it's getting late. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, almost 12:30. We're gonna do a quick one with Connor, and let's see if there's any comments we can get to real quick. CB Gaming says Thrashers had a game against the Hurricanes where all the players were fighting on the ice and the ref just dropped the puck at the end of the third so the clock would run out while everyone fought. Yeah, that's hilarious. Kyle Abiger said 1-4 is a set. And sorry, NYCFC has a game in hand to possibly get a top 4. So there's that about a standings update. Connor, welcome. How are you doing?
Good. I'm doing well.
Yeah, you're not too sleepy yet.
Oh no.
Cause I'm getting there. You're young. Awake. You'll be fine.
Oh yeah. I'm still awake. But I had a great idea.
You were a night owl, so
yeah. I'm like, yeah. I just got my sleeping. I got some sleeping pills, so I'll kick in eventually.
Oh boy.
Oh,
What if it kicked in the next 10 minutes?
No. It takes like an hour, so we got time. But I have
Alright,
a great idea for Nick. We need to get him a T-shirt that has like a barcode on it that you can just like scan and go to the website.
QR code, 100%.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, tell us about the game. What'd you think? You were there, so.
Yes, I was there. Man, it was a great game. Lord, I just opened a FIFA pack on accident. Oh Lord. Okay, well, okay, off to a great start. Okay, yeah, but yeah, it was a great game, man. Going back like that, this is one of the first games like for like years that I've really felt like we absolutely dominated, and we dominated against a team that I actually felt like that we weren't expected to dominate. And that was really surprised me going in. Not Red Bull, how they played didn't necessarily surprise me. How we played, I thought was actually really surprising. I didn't think we were going to try and possess as much as we did. And honestly, I guess Red Bull, the one thing that was weird to me is usually they're like super direct. Like they're like hoof it up the field and run and chase. But they were like very like, they weren't putting it into space as much as I thought they were going to do tonight. So that was kind of weird, but.
That's them all season, pretty much, because they have a few more players that can play, so I think that's kind of more of their MO this season is they're trying to play through you instead of just over you, and it's kind of worked to some degree, but it also has been, I think, a little bit to their detriment because teams that they've historically dominated have been able to find some ways to find some joy. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was like, it's weird because I think even if we go back and look at the like statistically, they like it looks like a similar Red Bull performance. Just our XG, like we are the ones that like had all the chances and they just didn't create anything, which is weird to me. But also,
it was a track early, like, basically. Yeah, like counter versus counter. It just kept going back and forth, and it was like. But I think we had the better of the chances, and especially with the free kicks and the corners that we, of course, didn't do anything with. But Red Bulls probably. I mean, they just weren't really able to get into our half, for a good chunk of that first half. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, I mean, other than like, I think defensively we're really good. I mean, I think like y'all were talking about earlier, Lennon not being in the game. And us just being more set like I think our shape's a lot better this game. Defensively, we're set up to not get counterattack as hard. Overall, I think just like we didn't commit ourselves as much, which really helped. And whenever we did commit, it wasn't like it's similar to what you were talking about. Like whenever we have that like false back or like guy in the inverted fullback, they're still in the park where they're gonna be able to be defensively. And they just have a man that covers for them in that area. So I think that's something that we like when we had Lennon doing that, he was playing well. So I don't know why we don't do that anymore, but it's weird.
Well, we don't have the personnel. It always comes down to it because, I mean, it's like Lennon. We've tried to play him in a little bit more interior positions, but he's just not that type of player. Like if he's pressed in midfield, like it's not going to be pretty. He doesn't have the ball retention ability or the resistance to being pressed. So it is like, yeah, he can beat his man on the dribble occasionally, but like that's really how he frees up space, or he is played into space. So yeah, it really comes down to like we need more dynamic players, and especially in defense, because I don't know what happened to Williams. I didn't really.
Yeah, I didn't catch that either.
Seemed like muscle injury or something, because I think it was like quad maybe. That's what it looked like they were working on. But he looked okay walking off.
He did. Yeah, and when he sat down, he looked all right. But
exactly.
Hopefully it's precautionary. I didn't hear any. I didn't pick up in the press conference if anyone asked him about Williams. So.
Right. Yeah, hopefully it's just a tweak, and yeah, he can be back for the last match. But
Yeah, because he's essential.
Yeah, but it is also this. It's like, I think, I trust his diagonal balls. I think more than Stian Gregerson's, and he went on a little bit of a walkabout to set up a cross for Alexi.
Oh yeah, I remember that too.
Yeah, and it was just wide. But yeah, it's like we need more of that. We need more of the dynamism a little bit, because it is where they were parked, pretty close to the edge of their box a little bit for like most of their players. And yeah, like I want more of that, where one of those like LGP runs where okay, they're allowing you the space, take the space, put in a cross, be chaotic a little bit. But because I don't think our defenders our central defenders sometimes are brave enough to do that. And I mean, that's how you break down a team. Like, and especially if you in the future, I would hope anyway, and I would assume that we're going to be a team that probably has, we're going to want to retain the ball. We're going to want to be a protagonist with the ball. And, you're going to need your defenders to basically be able to help dictate the flow of the game. And, it just, like, I think too often our defenders are, just passive. They're just...
Well, they're one-dimensional. Yeah, they just do their defensive duty, and they don't really do anything else.
Right. So anyway, go on.
But how about that Amador? Doing a lot of defensive and offensive things.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I'm really surprised with the passing range. I think he excelled at that tonight, which I would be interested to see it in more games going forward. If it continues, not only is he able to put in a good cross, but he's able to find feet in the midfield, which I think is very interesting. And one thing that I really liked tonight is Mosquera was sitting on the touchline, and we have not seen that where we have a winger who does not need to be in the middle, and because we don't need his offensive contribution as much because he can't finish. I mean, he's not a finisher, but he can beat his man. So put him on the touchline, and he was able to beat his man. So they had to compensate for that, which gave Pedro plenty of space. So I really liked that, and I thought Rob, if that was the game plan going in, I think they did a fantastic job of filling that information in. But overall, probably should have been more than 2-0. Of course, Cornelius, another great performance from a goalkeeper against us as always.
Yeah.
But, every week. But I mean,
unfortunately it was 2-1, but it is either way.
Try and keep that.
I know. Yeah, just excise that from the memory. But it is that though. Like, we weren't able to keep the clean sheet, which, as like decent as our defense has been at times throughout the season, we still can't really keep the clean sheet. And I think that's probably part of the worry, of like, if we got into the playoffs, like we're gonna ship a goal at some point. So it's just like, okay, can we score enough? Usually, no. That's also the problem. And so I get it from the we don't deserve it type of standpoint. But for you, like, what if we did make the playoffs? What's your confidence level?
It really, I feel like it depends on exactly which team we get. Because I feel like if we play a team that we can, it's kind of, there's like a bogeyman team that I'm like, I feel like we can be the bogeyman. Like if we play one of the really high possession teams that's like they're trying to be the man that puts 4 past you, and they're gonna have like 65% possession. I kind of feel like we can get a 2-1 win off them, just countering. Unless it's Columbus. Columbus is the only team where like they're offensively they just retain the ball so well that we'll get a couple counters, and it's just if we actually take our chances.
It's possible. We have beaten them. It's possible. So
it's very possible.
Yeah. Even with the best of the best. So.
Right, but the problem is, I think that was probably more of a 9 times out of 10 they're probably going to beat us. But
same with Messi's Miami. I feel like too, but
Right, exactly. Well, Miami, I think the game state worked in our scenario, but we don't need to get too hard into that.
No, we don't. It's about bedtime. So.
Yeah, it is. But as far as Columbus, it's like, that's probably the difficulty, is that they are just so good on the ball that I don't think us in a low block, or even I think we played a mid block against them. I don't know if we can do that. I think that we can trust that enough, trust our defending enough the entire match to just snuff out every single attack. We haven't played that way. I don't think we have the players to do that. So it would be pretty we would have to be kind of crazy. I feel like to think that. But anyway,
they also they got those X factor guys that I obviously. Yeah, and it's Inter Miami, they have those guys, but they're they can only, their bodies physically can only do so much.
They're not pressing.
Exactly.
They're not defending.
Columbus are young, fast, good on the ball, everything that hurts to play against. Miami are really good on the ball, but they're not that fast. And where they are fast is they have so many fast players. There's only a certain amount of them that are that quick, and that's what compensates for the slow players. I would really take our chances more against Miami than Columbus, just because Columbus I don't like that matchup if we have to face them.
Well, I think based on just statistics alone, we have more success against Miami somehow than Columbus. So I would go with that. But for whatever reason, that's wild. And I will say, just the homies in Columbus. Bit of stiffed recently. I feel like they deserved, to be off topic for a second on a tangent. I feel like they deserved the last Club World Cup CONCACAF entry than Miami, but that's just me. I know they just wanted Miami in it, and Miami earned their shield. I'll give them that, but Columbus made it to the final and lost in the CONCACAF Champions League. That's alone should be qualifying for Club World Cup because you're already going down the thing. The shield is 3 levels down, but okay. So, feel for them with that, but whatever. Anyway, Connor, last thoughts because we're getting tired.
All right, let's good game coming up against Orlando. We'll see how that goes. If we get our business done, I'm confident. If we get the business done, I'm confident going into that game. Am I that confident that we're going to get the job done? If we play like we did tonight, then yeah. I don't know if we are, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll need to be more clinical than we were tonight. But yeah. In terms of chance creation, yeah. I feel you, because it's but also limiting the number of chances from the opposition too, and Disney kitties are flying high. It's gonna be a tough one.
Based on what Nick said, he hypothesized that our energy tonight from the crowd and the players, their symbiotic relationship, was able to put Red Bull a little uneased, and so perhaps that put them off their game, lowered their confidence, pushed us further, propelled us further. And maybe that had something to do with, kind of unraveling their mental game. I don't know if we will be able to do that against Orlando. So maybe if that was an X factor tonight, that will probably be lacking for the one in Orlando.
Well, our traveling contingent will, definitely need to show up, be loud, be louder than Orlando City. But that's the question. Who's going to be going?
That's a tall task for them because the Orlando's going to be wild because they know what kind of game it is.
So I like obviously the supporters play a big factor, but I'm like, I feel like when in these kind of games where you're like, you need a win and you are able to control a team that's quote unquote better than you, and you're able to limit them to basically nothing for 15 to 45 minutes, that you kind of get something in, like you kind of like as a player you kind of feel something there, and you kind of see blood, and you're like, I feel like we kind of even saw that towards the end of end of the first half, where not only was it just like as supporters we also kind of like rose up and we saw that, but I think as players you saw them that they saw that Red Bull they weren't being as Red Bull as they usually are. I think we saw that, and we really saw the blood and we went for it. I think I don't know if Orlando is gonna. I think going in, it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do, because I don't think the game really means anything for them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have a bye, so I'm kind of like, mentally, I'm thinking, do you want to risk? Like, I don't think that, like, kind of mentally for them, I'm kind of I don't know how to feel about them right now, but for us, it's must win. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But.
Yeah.
Right. I feel, I know exactly what you mean. Is that, when they go in for that tackle, are they gonna go full heart in that tackle, or is it gonna be like, okay, I might pull out on that tackle a little bit, and maybe not go as hard, and to preserve my legs or possible injury or any of that. And so I mean, we have to win, and so I think the energy that we're going to give is going to be a lot different than probably Orlando's. So it's just a matter of if they can actually utilize that into getting the result that we need. So
it'll be interesting. Of course, they saved this one for the last game of the season. So here we are. Connor, it was fun talking to you. We got to get to bed, but I'm glad we were able to fit you in. I know it was a long trek back.
Traffic's been terrible.
But hey, you got to be there for a win and join us for it, so that's awesome.
Yeah. 7th year in the book. Isn't it 7 years, right? Yeah. Right? Is it 7? Or is it 8 now?
This is the 8th year, yeah.
8th year. Lord, I've lost track. Lord.
Yes, season 8. I always think it's funny because they're referring to the seasons they're playing, but in my mind I hear like television season when they say like, next year will be season 8. It's like episodes? What do you mean? So so anyway, all right. Thanks for hanging out, Connor. Have a good night. We'll talk to you later, bud.
See y'all. Orlando. 2 weeks, right?
Yes, 2 weeks. Not next week. Reminder to everybody.
Is it an international break? Is that what it is?
Yes.
International break.
Yeah. See, I keep up with international football. 100%. All right, see ya.
See ya.
Yeah, all good. Yep. Later.
All right, AJ, why don't you get us on out of here, because I'm about to go to bed. And also, let me just read this comment real quick. Tommy says, "Good win today, indeed." I agree. Thanks for stopping by and saying that. Thanks for everyone who was in the chat, everyone who stayed up and watched with us. Again, we appreciate it with these late night videos. It's not easy, but we're here, and we love what we do, and we love you guys hanging out with us. And we'll look forward to next week. Win or lose, we're still gonna have a good time. And come hang out with us.
Indeed. So everyone, thank you so much for watching. For everyone that came on and chatted as well, Niall, Nick, and Connor. That's Michael. I'm AJ. Thank you so much for watching. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye-bye. Good night.
Night.